What's going on, pro wrestling fans? Welcome back to Squared Circle Speak. I am Ryan. With me, as always, is my highly energetic co host, Nathan.
Hell yeah.
And today, we have another top 10 coming at you. It's a little different than our normal top 10s. We're doing our own personal list of our top 10 favorite pay per view names. Now, this can be from any company. I have a little bit of mixture between WCW, WWE, and TNA in my list, and I'm gonna say my list is probably gonna shock some people.
All right.
I'll throw that out there. So let's get into this with number 10. My number 10. I don't know how long this is gonna go because I don't know how long we can really discuss our picks. But
Yeah, we'll try.
we'll see what happens here. My number 10, I was always a fan of this pay-per-view, and I don't know why WWE got rid of it. My number 10 is No Way Out. I was always a fan of the No Way Out pay-per-views. I'm not sure why they changed it to Elimination Chamber. No Way Out still has the same kind of name.
True.
So I'm not sure why they couldn't have just used No Way Out as like the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. But No Way Out was always one of my favorites, and yeah, I don't know why they really bummed out when they got rid of it. And it's one that they haven't brought back. Even NXT hasn't brought it back yet. The last No Way Out was like what, fucking 2000 something. Let me
All
see.
right.
The last one was 2009 was the last No Way. Oh no, 2012 was the last No Way Out.
Okay.
So it's been over 20 years since we've had a No Way Out paper, or 10 years. Geez, my math's just completely.
Maybe they'll bring it back for NXT. They seem to bring out back all the old pay-per-view names for NXT.
Yeah, hopeful. I mean, I would love it. I don't know why. I just always was like I always love the name No Way Out. I think it's a good, like, solid pay-per-view name, especially if you have a cage match or a elimination chamber on it.
I mean, honestly, this is a side note here. Not going to go on a tangent, even though I don't think this video is going to be that long. I think if WWE goes back to because really, I mean, we haven't had tag team titles on a pay-per-view in so long. And we've only been having these 5-match pay per. If you're gonna do 5-match pay-per-views, fucking start doing a Raw pay-per-view and a SmackDown pay-per-view every month, and then you have them both together on the big five, and the rest of them, you know.
Well, I've been saying that for a long time. I mean, they're on the fucking Peacock. Like they can have as many shows as they want. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, might as well at this point, and then you can bring back some of these pay-per-view names. Just saying.
hell yeah. Like a couple other ones on my list.
Yep. All right, we ready for my number 10?
Yes.
My number 10 is a WCW pay-per-view. Is one been I don't know why, but it was always one of my favorites, right? From WCW. I'm going with World War III, baby.
You motherfucker.
I like it because World War III. They always have didn't they seem to always have the what did they call it? War games. Yeah, the War games matches at
It
World
was
War III.
Was it? Because I think they did, but they also did the Battle Royal shit too. So
Sometimes, but
Ring.
the 3-ring battle royal. Yeah, they did that sometimes, but yeah, they did war games at least 2 or 3 times at World War III, and it made sense. It's war games, World War
Yeah.
III, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just a good name for a pay per view. I mean, not a good name in politically, but it's a
Not
good name for
anymore, but
yeah. But I mean, it meant it was going to be epic. It was World War III.
I mean, that's one that I think, won't be brought back. What spurred this thought of mine was and it's kind of spurred also the retro review we're gonna do later this week. But it spurred of all the new like names that WCW or WWE got the copyrights to or whatever. So it
Right,
really
right.
got me thinking of these old pay-per-views that I don't have anymore. And World War III was it's an honorable mention on my list, Nathan.
All right.
I was also on the same thought of you as I always loved the name World War III. It made it feel like a huge show. It felt like anything could have happened on this show because it's World War III and you didn't know exactly who was gonna win, and it just felt like chaos could happen. And it felt like it was a good pay-per-view name. My number 9, we're going TNA, Nathan, and I don't know
Yeah.
why, but for some reason this one stuck out for me, and it's not a great name, but for me, I don't know why. But number 9 is Genesis. I always thought they did it in January, one time. It should have always been they did it January a couple times. I thought that made sense because Genesis is kind of like a new beginning, and it always made sense to do it first pay-per-view of the year. You're at it, you're in a Genesis of the company. So I don't know why, but TNA or Genesis was always a cool name, and I don't think they've kept it, which kind of sucks. I don't think they do Genesis anymore.
Right.
But I was always partial to I don't know why. Like I said, it just when they had their old pay-per-views, Genesis was always one I was like, that's a cool name. I love the
Oh
name.
yeah. Hell yeah. I like that. I like that. My next one, number 9, is going to be Hardcore Heaven from ECW.
Oh, wow.
Because I like that one because you don't hear the name Heaven in wrestling very often. But
True.
Hardcore Heaven, I mean, you knew that you were going to get some extreme stuff at Hardcore Heaven. I mean, and that, I don't know, it's just a unique name. It's a name that you're not going to forget. You
True.
know, it's something that you're always going to you're going to know that it was special, and I don't even think they did it very often. Like I think they have like two. So I mean, yeah, that's one that I think one of these indie companies like because that trademark's had to be it's
Yeah,
had to
there's
be
no
out.
way WWE kept that trademark.
I feel like MLW or somebody needs to bring back Hardcore Heaven
Yeah, and to have it be an extreme show and
or
just
GCW maybe.
yeah. Yeah, Hardcore Heaven's a great name. I didn't think of that one, but yeah, Hardcore Heaven is such a unique pay-per-view name because, like you said, you don't hear Heaven used in the world of W wrestling very often, and then you throw Hardcore on top of it, and you're like, this is going to be Hardcore Heaven. This is going to be, this is going to be a just an insane show.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be on 8 now.
Mm-hmm.
My number 8. And again, we're going to WCW. They've only did one of these shows because it was the last pay-per-view they ever did, but I thought Greed was a pretty cool name for a pay-per-view. It kind of sums up wrestling altogether. Everyone in wrestling is greedy. They all want the title. And I thought Greed was a cool name. It's too bad it was their last show ever. But uh and it was kind of the end of everything. But I thought Greed they went with like the seven deadly like they went with like the seven deadly sins towards the end there because they had sin and then they had greed. But I thought greed was cool. I wish it would have stuck around because I think greed could have been a really cool name throughout the years, but it's one of those ones that will be a one-time only show. And I don't think anyone in wrestling has used greed, and I don't know why, because it seems like that's perfectly encapsulates like wrestling. Like greed is like the thing in wrestling. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure why more companies haven't used that yet. Because I'm sure that trademark's gone. It's just the word greed. I'm sure WWE don't have that trademark anymore.
Hell yeah, man. I like that one.
All right.
My next one is kind of a unique one. I'm going to go back to the WWF In Your House days here, and I'm going to go WWF In Your House Mind Games.
I knew that's where you were going.
I like the name Mind Games because you could have a couple of matches on this pay-per-view that where feuds have been, people have been getting in each other's heads and stuff, and it makes sense, and it might be a little cliche because it's too on the nose and it does make sense, but I don't know. Mind Games, some of those In Your House pay-per-views were unique, man, because they only used them once,
Yeah.
and they used them for specific feuds and stuff. And I would kind of wish WWE would like, or some company would go back to that, just having a pay-per-view named just because of a feud.
Yeah. I mean, they had like Buried Alive and they had
Return of the Taker. I mean, come on.
yeah,
That's an awesome name for a pay-per-view.
they had one called It's Time. Like, yeah, I mean, they had really cool A Cold Day in Hell. Like, In Your House was great. I really wish they would go. I'm with you. They should go back to it. And they kind
I
of did it
mean,
take over a little bit,
yeah.
but I think In Your House, they should bring those back.
I mean, one called Good Friends, Better Enemies. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they had like what was the one with they had like Bulldog. Bulldog got one too or something.
Beware the dog.
Beware the dog. Yeah. And they had like International Incident and then like the Canadian the Stampede or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Inner House is great. They had really cool subtitles for their pay-per-view names. I didn't think of any of those, but they're all really good. All right, my next one is ECW. My number 7 is Guilty as Charged. I think this one is a pretty good representation of ECW. And it's a really just it doesn't really I don't know what it means like in the terms of wrestling, but I thought Guilty as Charged was always one of my favorite names they had. I guess they're just they made the name because it's like everyone says they're hardcore and they're rebels, and so they're like Guilty as Charged. It fit. That was the thing about ECW is their pay-per-view names fit their company, just like Hardcore Heaven and just like the other ones they had. Like every name they had kind of fit what they were going for with this company. And I think Guilty as Charged is the one that hit it on the head. They're gonna call us hardcore. Well, we're Guilty as Charged. So I thought this was a really cool pay-per-view name and another one that I don't know could be brought back in some way. But
Yeah. My next one is WWE. I'm going with Judgment Day, Ryan. Obviously, they'll probably never bring this one back because Judgment Day is the name of a group.
yeah, it'd be kind of weird unless it'd be like DX at their own pay-per-view.
Yeah. So yeah, Judgment Day. I like the name of it. I
It's
liked it. It
yeah.
was usually in like September, October around Halloween time. And I don't know, it just seemed like a good horror movie themed pay-per-view, Judgment Day.
The
And
logo was always cool too.
yeah. That may have been also why I liked it.
The logos always were cool. They always had some sort of fire or like it just looked cool. And
Yeah.
yeah, it should be one they bring back. They won't unless the Judgment Day disappears at some point and they bring it back. But yeah, Judgment Day. It's not on my list, but it was one that I should have on my list because dude, there's the WWE's favorite names used to be the shit. They would knock it out of the park with their names. Now, not so much, but
Right.
all right, we on 6 now.
I think so.
Yeah, my number 6. Oof, it's a classic WCW pay-per-view. It's been brought back by NXT as of late, but it's Halloween Havoc. I think I love pay-per-view names that are alliteration, where they roll off the tongue well, and and I think Halloween Havoc is a perfect pay-per-view name, especially if you're gonna have it every year at Halloween time. Just like Judgment Day, you said it's around Halloween. I think Halloween Havoc's just a great name. Some memorable moments on this pay-per-view. I think I liked it just because of the pumpkin. Like the giant pumpkin. But I love the logo with the little V that like curls down. But yeah, I always loved Halloween Havoc. It was always one of my like I love pay-per-view names that have the same letter, like Royal Rumble, Halloween Havoc. So that might be why it's on this list, but
Could be. Could be.
I've always loved names like that. So Halloween Havoc. It's classic. I'm glad it got
Yeah.
brought back because it was too long. It was gone, and I was like, damn it.
All right, my next one. I kind of like this one because it was a WWE pay-per-view. I kind of liked it because not only was you could kind of use it for like if you're gonna have submission matches or I quit matches or something like that, or a feud that was like a blood feud, and you didn't, and but also it had one of the best video games. So I'm going No Mercy.
No mercy.
I
Yeah.
feel like that one is one that's just fitting for wrestling. Because if you have a feud where it's like I said, a blood feud, you're gonna show no mercy, And then, like I said, if you have a submission match, no mercy. You're making, I like it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's on my list. No Mercy's on my list. I thought it was one of the best ones. Just like all that you described. You get the title just screams. It's just a good name for pay-per-view. I'm glad NXT brought it back. Because it deserves a spot because it's just a good name for a pay-per-view. Like there's no reason it shouldn't be a pay-per-view. It's like the perfect wrestling pay-per-view name. Like everyone here is going to show no mercy. I mean, that's perfect. So I'll slot that one in right here at number 5.
All right.
Is that what we're on? We're on 5, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I'll slot that in at number 5. That sounds good for me. But yeah, like you said, yeah, also the great video game that came along with it, but No Mercy it's like the perfect pro wrestling pay-per-view name. Like I don't know,
Very
it's pretty good, but it's not my favorite.
okay. My next one is WCW. I like this one, Ryan, just because of the locale. I'm going with Bash at the Beach because Bash at the Beach was such a unique pay per view. Because most like until later they quit doing it, but early on they actually had it at the beach. It was in on the ring in the sand with the ocean behind it. You got the, I mean, they it was the most unique pay per view. Except for maybe when they had the one at the motorcycle rally. But this is the one of the most unique pay per views that was actually functional. Because yeah, those motorcycle rally pay per views were not functional. Jesus Christ. But
No.
uh, but yeah, I really like this one. Ryan Bash at the Beach is one of the first WCW pay per views I ever watched. Actually,
Yeah,
like
we had a
yeah, we only
VHS of it for no reason. I don't even know
yeah
why.
for, yeah. So yeah, Bash at the Beach, man, had to have it on there.
The set was always cool. Even when it wasn't at the beach, they'd have the set and it would be a beach set and they had like surfboards and shit everywhere
That
and
one
palm
time,
trees.
the one time when it wasn't even around the ocean or whatever, wasn't actually on the beach. Had like a pool around the ring, like it was, and Kevin Nash like jumped into it one time, and
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah, Bash at the Beach was always good. That's a good name too. Like I said, alliteration. Bash at the Beach. I like it. My number 4, we're gonna go back to TNA. Uh, they had some good names, and this one I think they still do occasionally. For a while there, it was their cage match only pay-per-view. I like the name Lockdown. Again, it's a good pro wrestling pay-per-view name. Pro wrestling names are supposed to be like intimidating and like kind of like fierce and crazy. And I think Lockdown's a pretty good name for a pay-per-view, especially if you're gonna have cage matches on it. I don't think every match should be a cage match, but that's what they did for a while. But I think Lockdown just it rolls off the tongue easily. It's very quick to get through. Some pay-per-view names are way too long, but I think Lockdown's quick, easy, and it kind of tells you what the pay-per-view is going to be about. It's like pretty nice. So I didn't realize I had so many TNA ones till now, but I guess I was a big TNA fan.
Apparently, you were. I didn't think you had that many either. That's pretty crazy, there, Ryan. Okay, so next one for me, Ryan. I don't know why, but I don't know. I decided I'm gonna have an AEW pay per view on here.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, you can bite me. I'm gonna have an AEW pay per view on here, Ryan, because I kind of like the name. I like the name. I don't know why I like the name, but I like the name. I'm going Full Gear. I don't know why. I don't know if it's. I don't really understand it. I don't know if it's a racing term. I don't know if it's a like a gear in a cog of wrestling. I don't know,
Is it just
but
being? Isn't full gear like a term that means like going 100% or something?
I
Like
think so. But that isn't that the same thing as all their pay like all out, all in, full
yeah,
gear.
I mean they're all very similar.
But I don't know. When they first announced Full Gear, I was like, hey, I kind of like that name, and it's different than I felt it was a little bit different than all the rest of their pay per view names,
It is.
and so yeah, I like that one.
As long as you didn't say Dynasty, I was okay.
Yeah.
Because that's a dumb name. All right, my number 3. We're going to another classic WWE from their golden age, I would say, of pay-per-views. I'm going with Vengeance.
Ooh.
Again, it's a good name. It's quick. It's easy. but it can have multiple meanings when it comes to matches on the card. And TNA or NXT kind of uses it with Vengeance Day. I do not like Vengeance Day. I think
No,
Vengeance Day is a dumb name, but Vengeance, great name.
right.
But you added a day to it and it makes it stupid. I don't like Vengeance
Because
Day.
it's Valentine. Why did it? And they did it because it's Valentine's Day, and I'm like, why didn't you just bring back Valentine's Day Massacre or whatever?
Yeah. But Vengeance alone, great. And it's quick. Like again, you want to sell your pay-per-view, WWE Vengeance. It's like super quick and like every pay-per-view back then had like it was like Judgment Day, Vengeance. They were all like very just like end of the world feeling. Like
Yeah,
what
definitely.
apocalyptic pay-per-view names. No way out, no mercy.
Definitely. My next one, number three, right?
Yep.
My number three is also from WCW. I'm going Great American Bash.
That's a good
I
one.
like that one because it was Fourth of July themed, and I don't know. I was gonna have Halloween Havoc, but I knew you were gonna have it, so I went with Great American
How
Bash.
did you know I was
I
gonna have Halloween Havoc? What the heck?
I don't know. I don't know. I just figured you would. So I went with the Great American Bash because I was like, we gotta have a theme pay per view for a holiday, and and a lot of other holidays can't really do a theme, but Great American Bash, Fourth of July makes sense. There's always fireworks at wrestling. I mean, it makes sense, and they always had seem to have good matches at Great American Bash.
Yeah, isn't that where RoboCop showed up?
Okay, never mind. Son of a.
I don't know if that was any actually,
Oh
but
no, but if it is, you just ruined my pick.
yeah. You know what was weird? So Great American Bash but it's the Great American Bash, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was always in June.
Ah,
Which, yeah, it was. What the fuck?
I don't know. Well, Fourth of July is right at the beginning of July. Sometimes they're in a weekend right there. You gotta. I don't
They
know.
just never. Yeah, they had. Okay, they should have switched. Bash at the Beach was in July, and American Bash was in June.
Yeah, they
I feel
probably
like they
should.
should have just swapped those.
Yeah,
That's
they probably
WCW
wanted to
for
have
you.
it before Fourth of July. I don't know. Maybe they felt like if you had it after Fourth of July, it would be. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. My next one, my number two is one that just got recently brought back, and we're gonna have the first pay-per-view in a while under this name. My second one of all time is Bad Blood. Again, alliteration, but it's also it's a good pay-per-view name. It signifies why people are wrestling. There's bad blood here. Obviously, the first one was an In Your House, as we mentioned earlier, In Your House, Bad Blood, and then it became its own pay-per-view for two shows, 2004 and 2005, I'm pretty sure, and then it was gone for a long time, and now it's back. But it was known for being the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view for a little
I
bit
was
there.
going to say it had one of my yeah, Bad Blood
It's had
had one of my
three. I think it had three or four Hell in a Cell matches at Bad
yeah,
Blood.
but it definitely the first Hell in a Cell, one of my favorite matches of all time. So
Yeah,
this was my number two.
is
Actually,
it?
I think I might have had it as my number one. But for entertainment purposes, I'm gonna drop it down to two just so I can still have a number one.
Okay, yeah, Bad Blood. I don't know, man. I'm glad they brought it back. It's a good name. Again, like wrestling pay names are just supposed to be either like epic or they're supposed to be just like make you like, oh, these guys hate each other. And Bad Blood does that. It's a good name.
Yeah.
My number one, since you already said Bad Blood's your number two, my number one might be surprising to some people because I think some people may not have even known that this pay-per-view existed because I'm pretty sure they only did maybe two of these shows. They did three. One was In Your House. I'm talking Fully Loaded.
That's your number
That
one?
is my number one. The name Fully Loaded. I love the dice.
What the freak, Ryan?
That's my number one. I have always when we used to have when we used to
Wow.
have SmackDown 2, every time I did a show, I always loved to play in the Fully Loaded mat. I don't
Okay.
know, but Fully Loaded, again, they only had two shows. The one was in Your House in 98. Then they had Fully Loaded 99 and 2000, then it never existed again. But for some reason, it was taken over by Invasion, and then they replaced it with Vengeance. But Fully Loaded, man, I told you I knew it would catch people. I knew people probably wouldn't even know what I'm talking about when I talk about Fully Loaded, but
Oh boy.
that's my number one favorite. It popped in my head the other day, and that's kind of why I wanted to do this list. I don't know why, but
Pretty sure we just lost all credibility.
all right, what's your number one?
Fully loaded. All right.
That's a good
Mine,
name, Fully Loaded. I mean, it's an Agile era name. I don't think you could do Fully Loaded now.
I think fully loaded sounds like you're about ready to watch a fucking, you know what. But
Well,
okay.
that may be something to do with it too. Maybe, 12-year-old
Maybe.
me.
All right. All right. My number one, I like it for two reasons. One, it rhymes. And two, it's a great name for a wrestling show because it's violent and it's vicious. And I don't even think they did it in the original ECW. I think this was a WWE ECW name, but I'm going December to Dismember, Ryan.
You talk about me. Wait a minute.
Hey, technically this was my number two, but you took my number one, so yeah.
December to Dismember was on your list?
Yes. You don't think that's a cool name?
I mean, and yes, this was the one and only ECW WWE pay-per-view. The December pay-per-view in the original ECW was uh like Massacre on 25th Street or something like that,
Right.
which is an
Which is
awful
probably,
name.
yeah.
Awful. December Dismember is better than that. But I don't
Yeah.
know if I would have put it in my top 10.
It's my number one, baby.
I guess if we're basing just on the name, it's
Yeah.
good. My
I'm
name,
going
I
by
just,
the event itself.
yeah, I think about the event and it's awful. But I guess the name itself,
You name okay. You name one good fully loaded match. Tell me right now. Just
without
saying.
looking, I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Triple H versus,
No, whatever. Don't even try.
they
All
had
right.
Austin and
So,
Undertaker in a first blood match.
got any? Got any? Got any?
Honorable mentions.
Yes.
I have a couple of TNA ones.
All right.
Bound for Glory, I think's a pretty decent name.
Yep.
And then Victory Road, which they didn't do very often either. I think they only did one or two.
Yeah. Victory
But
Road's a good name.
Victory Road's a
What
really
about Destination X? You didn't like that one?
I mean, I guess it makes sense with their company. But I don't know why. Why would you want to go to X? Like, what's the
X marks the spot. Goddamn.
yeah. Also like backlash I had
What
as a
about some of the newer pay per views from WCW like Mayhem?
I thought about Mayhem, Sin were both I thought
Sin
about.
is not Ryan. Sin is definitely not. Jesus. What about some of the ECW ones that we didn't name, like some like Heat Wave?
I like Heatwave, and I'm glad that NXT brought it back.
Yep.
Heatwave's a good name. They also had like, you know,
November to Remember.
November to Remember was good. I'm surprised you didn't put that one. December to Dismember. I'm
Well,
fucking
Dismember is more violent.
good God. One of the other ones they did, which no one's really done since, was Cyber Slam, which I think would work nowadays with the
No,
internet.
no, no.
But
That's like some bad 80s.
they had
Uh,
Orgy of Violence. I don't think you
what?
could get away with that anymore.
No, definitely not.
Living Dangerously is pretty good.
What about any WWE ones? Obviously, we didn't name any of the big five
I don't
because
like the names. Like I really
you
don't
know,
think WrestleMania is a good name.
I mean, Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble's nice.
Mhm.
Survivor Series was good when it was a series, but it's not a series anymore, so it's not really that good anymore.
Yeah, King of
Um,
the Ring.
like Money in the Bank's not good. Like SummerSlam's, it just sounds like 80s. Like it's gonna stick, they're never gonna change it, but SummerSlam just sounds so 80s to me. I've
Yeah.
always not really liked the name SummerSlam. Like King of the
Right.
Ring's good. I like King of the Ring.
Not Crown Jewel.
No, let's not. Let's not talk about Crown Jewel. What about Extreme Rules
No.
or One Night Stand? We didn't talk about One Night Stand.
One night stand I like. One night stand, I actually, yeah, I was gonna put that on my list.
Unforgiven.
No,
You don't like Unforgiven?
it is unforgivable.
All right. Well, what about Great Balls of Fire?
Oh yes, that's a top 50 right there.
They had,
Mhm.
there's obviously ones we're probably forgetting, but yeah, Fully Loaded, number one. What about New Year's Revolution? Was it?
Ah, that's not bad.
And then TNA had Final Resolution, which was all right, I guess. Night of Champions is not good.
Eh.
Like
What
every pay
about
per view should be a Night of Champions, in my opinion. So, what about
yeah,
Breaking Point or Bragging Rights?
neither one.
You don't like Breaking Point? I thought Breaking Point was okay. Over the Limit.
No.
Yeah, they had some really dumb, like Capital Punishment. Like that's just
That's horrible.
they had some really dumb names. I
Yeah. What
think
about we'll be done just 1 second here. What about other companies that we didn't name? Does New Japan have any good ones? I don't think so.
like like Wrestle Kingdom.
No.
It's not.
Dominion. I don't know what that means. Uh
Yeah, they have uh what else do they have? They have like Wrestling Duntaku,
what does
which
that mean? Who
I
knows?
don't know. Like it may be cool. They have like Power Struggle, which is I guess is okay.
Hey, that one's all right.
Power Struggle's good. Uh,
What about what about uh what about Triple Mania, right? Like Triple Mania is a name.
Triple Mania.
I mean it's WrestleMania, but 3 times better.
Apparently. I don't understand Triple Mania. I don't know why it's called Triple Mania. I
Because
guess
it's
it's Triple
Triple A.
A, but
You don't understand.
I
What
guess
about what about MLW's Battle Riot? You like Battle Riot?
eh,
What the hell's that mean?
I don't know. They have War Chamber.
That's just a rip off of okay.
Or so man, their names are awful, dude. So their pay-per-views this year were Kings of Colosseum, Super Fight, Intimidation Games, War Chamber, Azteca Lucha, Battle Riot, and Blood and Thunder. That might be the worst names of pay-per-views I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's rough.
Oof. Apparently,
Oof.
upcoming, they've got Summer of the Beast, Slaughterhouse. Yeah.
Hey, hey now. I kind of like that one.
You like Slaughterhouse? All right. Are there any other AEW ones that are decent?
AEW?
I don't really like AEW's pay-per-views. A lot of their
No,
names are
double or
not.
nothing, all out, all in. No, no,
Double or
no.
Nothing's okay, but it like we said, all of their names are very similar. Double or Nothing, All Out, All In, Full Gear. Like they're all
Yeah, and then you got Revolution
Revolution, and then you've got Wrestle Dream, World's End, and Dynasty. Mm.
or Forbidden Door. What do you think about Forbidden Door?
Forbidden Door is the dumbest fucking name ever. I hate the term Forbidden Door. It's not forbidden anymore.
Oh, okay. On that note, I think we're gonna call it. That was a great ending.
I think
Um.
ROH had some good ones. I just
Oh
want to
yeah,
say
yeah. Ring of Honor. I forgot about Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor did have like Final Battle, I think is a pretty good name for the end of the year pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also had like Death Before Dishonor, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only two though, really. Like, Best in the World is a dumb name for a pay-per-view.
Well, what about the one they do in like March?
They don't do one in March. Oh, that's the anniversary show.
No. I thought they did. What was the one?
They have Super Card of Honor, but
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
that's a
Eh.
that's a terrible name.
Yeah, I take it back. All right. Well, anyway, so if you like this or top 10, if subscribe to this top 10 so that we can hear more top 10s that we release, and hit the notification bell for more top 10 content, Ryan. And we'll see you on the next one. We got two more this week. We got the Big Vito. Is that who it is?
Yeah, Big Vito, shout out.
Oh boy, Big Vito. That's going to be interesting. That probably won't take very long. He didn't. I'm just saying. And then, and then, and then
He
we got.
follows us on TikTok, dude.
Hey, just because you follow don't mean you're getting all love. I'm just saying. And then we also got we got our what we have on for a retro pay per view.
Yeah.
God, can't believe you made me watch this. But we got a retro pay per view of new. Is it New Blood Rising
New Blood Rising.
from WCW? And God,
Oof.
that's going to be a doozy.
You guys need to listen to that one because whew, it's a hell of a
Yeah,
show.
yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. You covered everything, so I have nothing to say. So see ya.